Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, it's Pete. I am here with another edition of Pete Plays Tyranny. And tonight, we are looking at our venture to the top of the Spire, where we left off. We learned a lot about what happened post our decisions at the Spire, and we now are tasked with fixing the Spire, interacting with the Spire. I'm excited to see what happens and learn more about what's going on. Probably more than anything, I just want to know what the heck is this place? What are we doing here? Why have we been brought here? On closer inspection, a series of symbols carved around the base of the structure come into view. One symbol pulses with a blue-white glow. The pattern resembles the glowing lines of light seen on the floor of Ascension Hall moments before you found yourself transported above the clouds. As you stare at the symbol, the chill of the wind abates and your chest swells with warmth. The air finally feels welcoming, your lungs sated at last.
I'd be careful going any closer. This whole tower is humming with energies that we don't understand.
Lantry holds his quill poised above a sheet of parchment with anticipation.
Now, I didn't say back away. Let's find out what it does. Just be cautious.
You staked your claim on the tower and everything in it. Whatever that sculpture is, it belongs to you, says Verse.
I feel dizzy. Do you feel dizzy? Barrick massages the brow of his helmet, causing a howl of grinding iron to echo across the expanse. Touch the sculpture. The stone is smooth and cool to the touch. Marbling patterns move with the curves of the sculpture, looking more akin to veins than imperfections of rock. You can't find a single marking to suggest an artisan's tool. As you are about to draw your finger away, you feel sudden return pressure on your fingertip as the sculpture touches you back. The sculpture is once again still. There is a rush of warmth. There is a rush warmth through your body. Dude, the typos in this game are really profound. There's a rush of warmth through your body. A jolt of enervation that steadies your balance. A barrage of tactile sensation floods your mind as you feel footsteps and wind, but not on your face or your limbs. A moment later, the flood of information begins to make sense. You are feeling the wind against the spire, and even the weight of your feet, as if the spire were a second spine. With this connection made, you feel your awareness pull from this place. Not as a traveler, but as one glimpsing the world from impossibly far away. In this moment, there is nothing you cannot see, though you see it nearly all at once in a flood of sensation that is difficult to parse. You see a spire at the crossing of an ancient stone structure, two walls extending off into the distance. At the base of this eternal spire, settlers and merchants act in every way unconcerned, toiling under the observation of unforgiving taskmasters. As the shadow of the spire falls over them, the mood changes. The settlers pause in shared unease and look up at the sky toward you. Though you haven't seen it in person, you are certain this is a vision of Lethian's Crossing. For nowhere else are there the Tearsmen brave or desperate enough to settle at the intersection of Baden-ridden old walls. Near the settlement built at the joining of the ancient walls, you see a breach in the massive masonry, a cleft into the forbidden, hidden realm within the old walls. Drift closer to the spire. The spire feels similar to the one you now occupy, though instead of radiating arcane life, it reeks of dust and crumbling stone. A branch withering once pulled from its tree. It reaches for you with a barely perceptible tug. Now we will drift to the old ones Ildwall's entrance. Shadows envelop you, muting all sound and vision with slight delay. There is a feeling of perversion, of wrongness. Whatever arcane power is allowing your senses to drift free of your body seems to falter in this place. Figures haunt the stone halls, drifting emanations of cloud, claw, and fang. They pay you no heed, but you fear them all the same. In the depths of this forbidden place, the deepest chamber is bathed in light. An arcane symbol illuminates the floor, though the details hurt your eyes when you focus. With a gentle tug, your focus pulls back to a new horizon, though it takes you a moment to recognize it as Vendrian's well. You've returned to the awareness of your immediate surroundings. The effect leaves you unsteady on your feet. The link between you and the Spire recedes. The arcane bond is still present, but the mystical energies, for the moment, are quiet. Your body flooded with excitement and fatigue. It's unclear whether the mystic connection is strengthening you or siphoning. The tower offers nothing by way of answer, and you know that asking would only yield more silence and mystery. The deluge of sensation is over, but the positions of the other spires still linger in your mind. From your vantage point atop the mountain spire, you can easily spot the mysterious structures, each of them rising high above their distant surroundings. And the portal lights.
Did you see that?
Lantry signs a long sigil in the air, squinting at you as he works his cantrip.
The ripples are everywhere. When you move, the magic of this place stirs and churns. That portal over there, those burning braziers, they all grow more intense as you approach. I think it's responding to your presence.
Before we go ahead of ourselves, it's worth remembering that you ended Kairos' edict. That's no small feat. Maybe your connection to this place is related. Either way, sounds like something for the arcane-minded to investigate, says Verse.
Fifth Eye chimes in.
Speak with me after you see Tunon, Fatebinder. The disfavored need to be shown their place. If a dog acts up, you use a firm hand to put it back down. If we are to succeed in the tiers, we must work quickly. I will be waiting.
Fifth Eye will exit, I suppose. So I have to investigate the spires. First, let's level up Verse. She's pretty good on that. She's pretty low damage right now, I feel. Her might's pretty low. And she doesn't quite have enough abilities. Well, I think raising her ability cooldown makes sense. Because she gets most of her utility through her fire arrow and her skewer and her general ability to like affect combat in weird manipulative ways. So let's level that. Now skill tree wise, let's pick something. Duelist, I'm not quite building her for that. I'm kind of building her for a long range build in a way. So we should consider that when we're making our decision. Verse can taunt, which I don't really need. Know your enemy. When an enemy strikes Verse, she gains a passive bonus to dodge or parry. And parry skill until combat ends. Sure. Killing spree after a kill. I don't like that too much. We already read that one. Verse moves quickly about the battlefield, too quickly for enemies to engage her. That's kind of cool and might help. She, of course, can pin down enemies, and she has Eternal Flame. Piercing arrows. Attacks made with bows gain armor penetration. That would make her even more long range. While only wearing light armor, she gains a bonus to dodge. That seems okay. Improvised attacks. Increases accuracy and removes the recovery penalty incurred after changing weapon sets. That might be good, because I do change a lot with her. Battle Mind. When Verse is in the party, all members gain bonus experience for dual-wield bows and athletic skill. That doesn't help us too much. It would help us in athletics, but, like, nobody else uses a bow but her. Born of Blood and Fire. Gain immunity to the burning and bleeding afflictions. That's okay. Evasive. When superior to parry, use dodge skill to avoid incoming melee attacks. Also gain a bonus to defense against disengagement attacks. I think I'm going to give her the bonus to dodge. That way she's a little bit more slippery. So we got some updated stuff for our quests. I've almost gained full wrath with the Vendrian Guard, therefore have the Drain Strength ability, which is a passive, it looks like. Foe AoE versus magic. That might be a negative. No, I think these are both positive passives. That's good. Disfavored, we don't have any bonus abilities. We still get the passive from our favor with the Scarlet Chorus, which is plus 5% hit precision on all targets below 35% health, which is good. This is our Spire upgrades, which is new. And we can, like, hire people to do things. We can get a merchant who can create camping supplies. I think we'll look more into this in a few minutes. That's cool, though. It's like a base building type of deal. We have some quests. We can hide all our complete quests. We only have 2 quests currently. Yep. We'll look at those if need be. Sculpture doesn't respond to your touch. Okay. So we gotta kind of investigate. I don't know if there's gonna be anything here, but we might look at our quest here in a second to try to figure out what to do, because that's not responding to her touch. What if we stand there? Does that do anything? No. Okay. So we have the voice of Kairos. Tunon is the voice for Kairos in the tiers, and he'll want to know the specifics of what transpired in Vendrian's Well. Travel to Tunon's court in the Bastard City. Tunon awaits your return to his court in the Bastard City. Or we have Stirring Visions. Whatever you did in Ascension Hall in Vendrian's Well has given you the power to interact with Spire. Before you ascended the Spire, you had a vision when the edict broke. Understanding this vision might help you better grasp this new power you have acquired. You had vision of the Spire scatter across the tiers and could feel the connection between them and the Spire you claimed at Vendrian's Well. Gather more information about these mysterious structures and seek them out whenever possible. Okay, so I gotta adventure to the Spires. So there's one at Lethian's Crossing. You have gained access to Haven. The region spire is attached to the old walls at Lethian's Crossing settlement. Travel there and find a way to gain access to the Spire. I think we'll go talk to Tunon first. So I think we gotta travel down here. Okay. So we have a world map thing glowing here. So there's the Sunset Spire and the Bastard City. Which one do we need to go to? I think Bastard City is Tunon. Yeah, we'll go to the Bastard City. Okay. Tunon's Court. 2 days, 7 hours, 30 minutes. That's fine. I'll head back there afterwards. A long venture. Damn. 2 days. So we got a world map now. That's pretty cool. Skills gain experience as they are used and increase their rank with enough experience. Okay. So, Skyrim logic. Okay. We are now in the Bastard City. We talk to anybody? Scar, of course, raided my home during the invasion. I'll never see my daughter again, but... Oh. Can't read it. I haven't seen the North in years, neither have you, I warned. Is Tunon looking at me? I can never tell. I'm sure there's a good reason for Tunon to wear a mask, not that I would ever question him. They say it takes an Archon to fully comprehend Kairos' law. I believe it. We used to have a nice trade agreement with the North, made a few rings on the side, now we're vassals to the Empire. I've never seen Tunon touch the ground. I wonder where he sleeps, if he sleeps. These people are talking nonsense to each other. Please don't hurt me. There's no point in questioning Tunon's judgment. He knows Kairos' law better than we ever could. I haven't seen the North in years, neither of you, I warn. Yep. We exhausted all that. Oh. Lady Lucretius. This well-dressed, older woman stands apart from the milling crowds of nobles. She stares off into the distance, oblivious to your approach, until you're right in front of her.
Oh, greetings, she offers a reserved smile. And Lucretius, formerly of Thistleholm, you have the look of someone who belongs here. A fate binder, no doubt, she nods. Do you need something from me?
Okay, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll dig into some conversation. Be right back. Hey! So, a professional YouTuber would edit that out. Or he would have peed before starting his cast. You know what I do? Not that. I just keep it rolling. Keep the tape rolling. Okay. Lady Lucretius.
Do you need something from me?
What are all these nobles doing in Tunon's court? She smirks and shakes her head.
Trying to look brave, I warrant. But if you crane an ear to any of their conversations, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tunon set up shop in the Bastard City, we're still getting used to our new masters and figuring out what we can and can't ask of them.
She nods to the assembled nobles.
These are smart, ring-plenty folk. The way they approach Tunon, you'd think they were raised under a tyrant's lash. Some have come to settle a grievance, others to pledge fealty. I've been standing around long enough to know that the Adjudicator doesn't care for empty gestures.
How has the Bastard City fared since the conquest?
Kairos' forces took the city as we expected them to, without mercy or restraint. The Scarlet Corps spilled more blood than we had to give. We've suffered our share of hardships, but it seems that Kairos wants us alive. That's a more generous outcome than some of us were led to believe.
What brings a noble like yourself to Tunon's court? A frown cracks her pleasant demeanor.
Like the rest of the frightened inbreds here, I came to Tunon and asked him to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the Adjudicator my woes, but we didn't exactly see eye to eye.
What is Thistleholm?
A great sigh deflates her. It was my family's ancestral hall. The oldest stones dated back to the years when the bastard city was not but a dozen roofs and wagons clustering for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age has softened the wood, and its queer replacement in the warehouse district set it apart from the finer grounds, where lords and ladies strolled for amusement. It was a mess, but our mess all the same. I would invite you over for tea, something stronger even, but it would only disappoint. You'll find naught there but a gaping hole.
What happened?
Collateral damage happened. When the Adjudicator cast his judgment on the bastard city, he destroyed the districts of the corrupt merchant kings, their manors, their counting homes, and yes, their warehouses. Aged, dignified Thistleholm collapsed as a massive sinkhole opened under her foundation. The bastard city's laws may not have been perfect by Kairos' standards, but my family followed them with respect and never took a copper ring more than we deserved. I can't help but feel that my estate was not the criminal Tunon had in mind during his sentencing.
So what are you going to do next?
That's the question, isn't it? I appealed to the Adjudicator, thinking he would see reason. After considering my case for all of 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plot of land on the outskirts of the city. Tunon told me to build anew and start farming. Farming? Can you believe that? She shakes her head. It's not even that I'm opposed to the labor, but we're in war. I can't have the Scarlet Chorus breathing down my neck, raiding my crops, and Kairos knows what else.
I could say Tunon's word is Kairos' law, whether you think it's fair or not. Or Kairos' laws are made to serve the masses, not the individual. Or stop whining and take your rings. Justice is done. Or the Scarlet Curse are dogs. I suggest you use those rings to higher protection. Kairos' laws are made to serve the masses, not the individual. You've gained favor with Tunon.
I can appreciate that. Especially when there's suffering or corruptioning on a grand scale. It all makes sense on parchment, doesn't it?
She glances to the left and right with unease.
I come from a long line of smart, ring-savvy merchants, but even I can't reconcile Tunon's justice with Kairos' law. There's something wrong about it all. Maybe Tunon knows something I don't, or maybe...
She trails off, shaking her head in doubt. You presume to know more of justice than the Adjudicator?
No, it's not that at all. I am just saying that I don't understand Kairos' law as well as I thought I did. Maybe none of us do. People come here for justice. They usually get a version of it, but it's Tunon's version, not theirs. Half of the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of a ruling of favor. She shakes her head. The deed of a farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew how Kairos' laws worked, they might not come here seeking a ruling at all, even a fair one. Tunon is a servant of law, but he's the overlord's vassal as much as any of us. Sometimes it seems like he uses his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on a board, and he can move us wherever the law justifies that we stand. That doesn't sound, well, legal.
I could say Kairos defines law. That isn't for either of us to question. Or I could say Tunon isn't one to change his mind. Unfair as it might seem, the ruling stands. Or I could say, you should know better than to speak ill of the Adjudicator in my presence. Or I can only endeavor to bring true justice to the tears. Or Subterfuge 36? Fascinating. Now, how much is my silence worth to you, ungrateful one? I'm not that evil. I can only endeavor to bring true justice to the tears. Well, at least one of Kairos' agents has their heart in it. I'm still holding out hope that the tears are left standing after this war, and that Kairos' peace make something great of us. A lady can hope, can't she? Farewell, Fatebinder. Be well. Farewell, be well. Got some nobles over there. A couple more nobles. Court officer. Anybody else to talk to? Noble. Let's go see what some of these people are saying. Tunon shows you great favor. Make sure you do not disappoint him. You don't have to wait for an audience with the Adjudicator. I visited the court every day this month. If I pledge fealty to Tunon, will he accept my daughter as a Fatebinder? Tunon shows you great favor. Make sure you don't disappoint him. Those seem like similar lines to what the opposite person was saying. None of these painted sycophants understood the value of Kairos' law. Fatebinder, welcome back to Tunon's court. Give the order, I'll kick any of these stuck-up highborns down that pit. These nobles are getting restless. Keeping the peace is a real challenge. Give the order, I'll kick any of these stuck-up highborns down this pit. Thank you so much. I never saw an Archon before Tunon showed up. Are they all like him? His favorite hanged my niece for singing a song about Graven Ash. They're very protective of their Archon. Hey, have you ever seen anybody like Tunon? This is favor hugging my niece. Okay, these conversations are useless. Let's advance. What's happening here?
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Endrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, foul with baseless accusation.
The shadow beneath Tunon's cloak darken and flare around him. Murmurs of unease erupt in the court. So we finally met Tunon. There he is. Look at him in his mask. That's a cool mask. Listen. Albatronos says, Your Honor, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can well imagine why my version conflicts with his. She makes a dismissive gesture to the Scarlet Chorus representative. On my honor, and on that of the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before you, Archon. Blood Mulch is here too. Oh, so you imply that falsehood comes easier to my lips than yours? You're a fool if you believe the Archon of Justice won't see through your lies because the disfavored think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined, and falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Bled Mark will see to your fate.
The Archon turns, and you feel his gaze upon you. Bled Mark? Who's Bled Mark? Bled Mark is Kairos' knife in the shadows, the unseen drop of poison that enforces the Overlord's will. He reports to Tunon, the Adjudicator, serving in his capacity as the final word to those who hold Kairos' law in contempt. Few know the origin of the Archon of Shadows, or how Kairos maintains a hold on him. Those who anger the Archon never live long past sunset. Creepy.
Fatebinder, we will start with the matter of Graven Ash and the voices of Nerad have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
I could say the Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended into accusations of treachery. It seemed a mutual spat. Or I could say the Archons have been of different minds since the start of this war. Or I could lie and say you must have been mistaken. I wasn't even there. They've been on different minds ever since the start.
Perspective is appreciated, but the dispositions of the two Archons are already a matter of record. Loyal subjects of Kairos have drawn blood from each other, a cardinal crime. Something happened at Vendrine's Well to trigger this feud.
Well, they both couldn't agree. It was mutual.
The disfavored were more deserving of the honor. Our tactics and training outmatched the Vendrian Guard at every turn.
Says Albatronus. And I realize this is a woman. That's just how she sounds. I'm sorry. That's her voice.
What's balderdash?
The disfavored couldn't tip over a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our howling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the Vendrian Guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy. If only Ash and his legion would agree to a plan. This is blood mulch.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warn you both against speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time. Let us speak of Ascension Hall. From all accounts, it would seem you were instrumental in its capture, or so the petitioner of the Scarlet Chorus testifies. The disfavored commander has a dimmer view of the matter. Lend me your perspective.
I could say I joined with the Scarlet Chorus. We took the Citadel with an unstoppable advance. Or I could lie and say, I took the Citadel with my own strength, employing the Scarlet Chorus as a distraction. I'm going to tell the truth. We worked together.
The edict meant certain doom if the siege failed. So why, when your survival depended on it, did you join your strength to the Scarlet Chorus and not the elite disfavored?
I could say petty squabbles clouded Gravenedge's judgment. He was too mired in assaulting the voices to conquer the Citadel properly. Or, I could say, the voices of Nayrat was willing to win the Citadel at any cost. Ash values his army more than his duty to Kairos. So the reason I chose it was really the second one. Because the voice of Nayrat would do anything. I like that attitude about the Scarlet Chorus. They will go above and beyond to accomplish their mission. For a long while, the Adjudicator hovers in silence, shadows trailing from below his robes.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
I've told you all that I know.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder. A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise stopping there. Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way opened.
Fantastic.
Will do.
We get to go talk to Tunon, the Adjudicator. Let's go. I'm curious what we're going to talk about. Sir. Remain in formation, everybody. Oh, it's a weird place to click.
This feud is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
Tunon regards you in thoughtful silence. I agree, Your Honor.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus. Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the Tiers.
Could they both be guilty?
It's possible, but the momentum of the conquest up to this point suggests otherwise. The failure at Vendrian's Well implies a coordinated will behind the chaos. As always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name, but you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. They say the voices of Nerat holds you in higher regard than most. Use this alliance to enter his confidence. It seems unlikely the Archon of Secrets is more honest with friends than with rivals, but to his friends, he has been known to divulge much. The disfavored will likely be less cooperative with your investigation. They will no doubt assume Graven Ash's honor is beyond reproach, which is all the more reason to scrutinize the Archon of War closely. And if the ironclad forces discourage your inquiry, I charge you to make them talk. Speak their language of battle if you must.
I could say I shall speak with the Archon of Secrets, or the course seems like a source of lies, why bother? Or extracting information with the disfavored sounds like a worthy challenge. Extracting information with the disfavored sounds like a worthy challenge.
Remember, your bloodlust must always be tempered by Kairos' laws. You may defend yourself against the disfavored. Because they are warring with the Scarlet Chorus, you may claim the defense of the Chorus.
And the reason I chose that is because currently I'm more interested in what Voices of Nerat is doing, but I also feel like I need to get the disfavored out of the way before I figure out what Voices are doing, so...
Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. Though the disfavored were triumphant in the Blade Grave, I understand that their troubles within the region are unfinished. Talk to the disfavored commanders serving in the Blade Grave. Perhaps they can shine some light on the origins of this feud. There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Though it's impossible to gauge from his expression, Tunon seems more wary than usual. What concerns the court, Your Honor?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
Tunon hovers in observance, awaiting a response. I could say I was only doing my job, Your Honor, or I am in a privileged position to accomplish incredible deeds, or just another day in the life of a Fatebinder. I am in a privileged position to accomplish incredible
It
deeds.
pleases me that you grasp your role, as long as you temper it with a sense of duty. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos' army and the local Tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential. You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. If your killing spree in the bastard city is any indication, you are no stranger to spreading infamy already.
Tunon nods in approval. Yeah, I did some murdering in there in that conquest.
To capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
I could say, understood. I will be known as a champion of justice. I look forward to chaining chaos to my will, or great deeds will define me. I think my character would say I look forward to chaining chaos to my will. 'Cause he's like kind of falling under the Scarlet Chorus's spell.
So long as order and
Yeah,
chaos is
that's
law,
gonna bring some wrath.
you may dispatch chaos however you see fit. You are dismissed.
Whoa!
If the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tears in Kairos' name.
Tunon raps his gavel against the floor, the singular note resounding throughout the hall. And he's gone. And we got a level for Basic. Let's level him up really quick. Basic has really good spell cooldown right now. I think we're going to tank him up a little bit. He's been taking a lot of damage, so I'm nervous about him. And then we're going to keep going into the power ability. Not quite at the point where we can get these abilities yet. Let's go with Sunder. Deliver a powerful overhead attack that reduces the target's armor. Seems good for handling big guys. The Dissonance of War. You've been directed by Tunon to speak to the voices of Nayrat and Cacophony. Cacophony can be found in the Stone Sea region. Go to Cacophony and speak to the voices of Nayrat. Okay, so we are available to exit now, unless we want to talk to the voices. You return. It is gratifying to see that the war has not caused you to forget your roots. Yeah, let's talk to him. We'll check the time and talk to him. What is it you wish to know? Tell me about Kairos. Tunon favor 2. Kairos is our overlord. She ushers us from the brink of chaos with a stern hand and gestures to the way of peace. We are only too eager to follow in her perfect example. How old is Kairos? By our reckoning, her age upon Terratus is magnificent. Her true span defies measure beyond our limited construct of time. It would be a waste to spend our few pitiable years attempting to solve that riddle of existence. Think of Kairos not as a subject to beginnings or endings. Kairos is, and Kairos will ever be. Kairos is God. What is your relationship to Kairos? She is my master, and I her dutiful pupil. In this respect, you and I are no different. I have the honor of Kairos' confidence. She trusts me to enact her law upon the boundless territory of her rule. I am only too grateful to serve. I am the voice of Kairos' will, the harbinger of her judgment. Sorry about that. And the arm of her justice. Do you think Kairos' laws are fair? I shouldn't have asked that. I knew I shouldn't have clicked that. That is an irrelevant question. Kairos' law, it is the responsibility of fairness to conform to Kairos' definition of it. And anyone who believes otherwise is an agent of anarchy. Contemplate this as you deliver Kairos' peace to the frontier. If you fail to understand the importance and immutability of Kairos' law, then your work is but a perversion of justice. I couldn't help but notice that you refer to Kairos as a woman. Whoa, I didn't think that would bring wrath. Beware of that trajectory of thought. Save for her perfection, there is little about Kairos to which we could ascribe recognizable attributes. A power as distant and knowable as the Overlord should transcend our petty dualities. Male, female, it makes no difference. Kairos is mother to us all. Well then, okay, you bringing your social justice into my video game? I don't think so. No. X. See that? That means no. Also, if it's not a him or her, shouldn't you say they, them? Just saying, if you're going to do it, get it right. Get it right, boys. Probably sexist on its own right. Yes, but be cautious with your time. The tears do not rest. Tell me about Bleeding Mark. He is my headsman, and an assassin without equal. His official designation in Kairos' hierarchy is the Archon of Shadows, though I wonder that he ever considers himself aught but a slayer of the unjust. How did he earn his title? His work away from the court takes Bleeding Mark to the dark places of the world. The Tears and Northern Empire alike. Over time, Shadows became his dominion. They cloak him, protect him, and even fight for him if the need arises. It is said that Bleeding Mark can travel to any place where shadows are cast. Only he would know this for certain. Does Bleeding Mark serve you alone? Your question is flawed. We are all servants of Kairos. The Archons are also agents of their own interests. Those chosen, few empowered to bring order to the world in accordance with Kairos' peace. At present, Bleeding Mark is my vassal, and I his patron. The relationship is not so different from Graven Ash and Karen, the fallen Archon, or the voice of Neyrat and his songbird Siren. Such partnerings and apprenticeships are common. They provide mutual benefit to the Archons involved, as well as a measure of oversight. Back to my other questions. I'm curious about you, Archon. Curiosity is not a trait that I encourage in my servants. Too often I have witnessed such activity leading down a path to lawlessness. However, if you feel that a better understanding of me will inform your work, then I will allow it. What would you know? What would you know? Tell me about your rise to become Adjudicator. Curb your ambition, student. My path to this dais is not one that could be replicated under any circumstances. However, if your curiosity is determined, I will tell you my story. Forgive me, Your Honor. I only wish to know my master better. Ooh, lore 58. Damn. Or I could say, if your story can teach me nothing of power, then I am not interested. Or my sage friend would add it to his chronicle that others might learn from it. I'm going to say that. I'll probably gain favor with Lantry, who's more important to me than Tunon. Oh, I've gotten favor and loyalty. Why, yes, I would be most honored. Lantry grabs his largest quill and pulls out a fresh sheet of parchment. The first time you've ever seen him not start a note on the back of a prior work in progress. I came to the world centuries ago, says Tunon, before the dream of a unified Northern Empire was fully realized. My home country lay far away from the borders of Kairos' realm, and our conquest was a matter of distant speculation. Decades before rumor of Kairos' approach grew in panicked volume, I familiarized myself with the intricacies of her law. It took no time at all to realize the benefits of her inevitable subjugation. I took it upon myself to rise in my country's governance as an arbiter of law and drafter of covenants, building some notoriety for my execution of fair justice. As my influence and the trust of my people evolved, my decisions transcended to define future precedent. Go on. Always go on. What my countrymen could not have surmised was that I had woven into our customs the very backbone of Kairos' law. I set the stage for the conquest of our floundering nation to join the Overlord's empire. By the time the Overlord's armies presented themselves and offered terms of surrender, we had adopted Kairos' peace in all but name. Our absorption into the Northern Empire was a matter of legal formality, negligible changes to our already beloved document of law. The people credited me as the architect of peace, and for a time called me Tunon the Fair, as my importance grew in their estimate. Kairos could not help but learn of the part I played in her bloodless victory. Kairos' law has a breadth of intricacies that is unapproachable to the masses. I was chosen to interpret and represent the Overlord's will across the Northern Empire and beyond, this time as Adjudicator. It is my pride, my duty, my life. What does it mean to be an Archon? Okay, guys, this is getting long, and I need to go to bed. So, for now, I'm going to cut off this conversation. But we will come back, and we will talk more to Tunon, maybe as its own, episode. But these are cascading in a way I didn't know they would. So, for now, we'll leave it here. Had a blast. Good time again. I will see you tomorrow for another edition of Pete Plays Tyranny. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. Do all those things I tell you to do every video. Check out Mandate Radio. Check out Basic Reviews. Check out IndieGamesAAA.com. And like and subscribe to this video. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Goodbye.